Next tonight, the cost of Nottingham's controversial workplace parking levy has gone up again because of higher than expected inflation figures.
The levy is being introduced in a few months, in April in fact, and will now be £288 per space per year. And it could increase by another £100 over the next 3 years.
Well, Mike O'Sullivan is in Nottingham and can tell us more. Can you not? Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, Anne. Welcome to the NG2 Business Park in Nottingham. One organisation here that's liable for the workplace parking levy is the Chamber of Commerce, which has been fighting the tax for more than a decade, really. We'll speak to a senior figure from the Chamber in a moment, but the workplace parking levy is coming in April, and now we finally know how much that charge will be in the first year at least. A workplace car park that's going to cost the company that owns it around £8,000. 28 spaces liable for Nottingham's workplace parking levy. The managing director of plumbing suppliers GB Wilbond found out about the latest increase in the levy when we told him. The company, though, has decided not to pass on the levy to its staff.
We could see that this was going to be very divisive, and if we'd have passed this charge on, we'd have had quite a few disgruntled members of staff. And we didn't think we wanted to go into another tough year without all of our team pulling together in a straight line.
The City Council had estimated that the cost of the workplace parking levy would be £279 per year per space. Now it's factored in inflation of 5.2% from the retail price index. That's pushing up the cost to £288 when it's introduced in April for employers and organisations with 11 or more liable spaces. In future years it could go up by 3% a year, using forecasts from the Government's Office for Budget Responsibility. By 2015 it could be £381. The effect at the plumbing company this year will mean there's no money to pay for a new apprentice.
We ought to be able to encourage young people to come along and join our industry. So, yes, very sad, yeah.
It's another young lad without a job, so directly affecting the unemployment statistics.
The City Council says the levy's needed to help pay for 2 new tram lines, for other public transport improvements and for the revamp of Nottingham Station. But it's also left some firms counting the cost of a bill they didn't want. Well, the City Council says it's writing to businesses and organisations to tell them about the latest increase, and it says the legislation for the workplace parking levy requires them to link the charge to inflation. Well, they weren't available for an interview tonight, but John Dowson from the Chamber of Commerce is here. Good evening, John. Good evening. How are businesses going to react to this latest increase at a time when the economy is on a bit of a downward trend?
Well, obviously a lot will be surprised that the inflation increase is as high as it is, and many wouldn't have budgeted for it.
And you'd like them to take another measure of inflation, CPI rather than retail prices, to help soften the blow?
Well, certainly that's what government's measure for inflation is, and that's considerably less than RPI.
And we heard in the report there that one business looking to not pass on the cost because it could cause problems with the workforce. Is that something, a dilemma that businesses are facing?
It certainly is. I mean, if they pass it on to their employee, they've got to add VAT to that. If they absorb it themselves, then actually that could affect their investment decisions.
Sure. And what do you think will happen in terms of other cities? Has your battle helped to stop that happening elsewhere, stop the workplace parking levy coming in?
It may well have done. Government has certainly said that any other city looking to introduce a workplace parking levy will have to demonstrate that it has the support of the business community.
And it hasn't got that in Nottingham?
Certainly hasn't.
OK. John Dowson, thank you very much. Well, the City Council says that 44,000 parking spots have now been registered.
OK, Mike O'Sullivan, thank you. Still winter.